Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm not sure if I can tag people in a group, so I am gonna tag some people because there's a few people who have asked to be watching this. So I'm gonna just tag a few people that I know. As you're jumping on, give me some likes, give me some loves. I know I'm a little bit up close at the moment. I'm just looking to see if I can tag a few of the people that I know wanted to be in here. Hello, good morning. Sorry, I was really close to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Please, please, please share this with anybody that needs to hear it. If you've got friends in this group and maybe you struggle to find the connection with food and how to get your children to eat certain foods, I'm going to go into a little bit of that today. So I'm just going to leave it a minute or two. So sorry to those of you that will be watching this back on replay. But the way Facebook Live works is it's not interactive immediately. People don't know that I'm on until about 2 minutes in. So what I just wanted to do was let that bubble away for 2 minutes, and I'm going to introduce myself because it's not really important for me to be introducing myself when I'm talking about the subject. And I'm actually going to take you through, if it's okay with you guys, a short episode of Self-Love Club. Now, my name is Lucy Davis and I am a qualified nutritionist and a health coach. But that's not actually what I do for a living these days, although I weave it through my work quite significantly. I actually work with people very intuitively transforming their lives. Now, what that looks like to the adults, that could be chronic disease, that could be traumatic relationships, it could be lots of different things. And what I actually realised is that by unlocking the adults and unlocking the parents, what happened by default is that the children were really impacted. And what that actually looks like is, you know, some of my clients have unlocked their children from following in the same patterns as them by doing the work on themselves, not putting the children in front of me. So it's been a really, really amazing, incredible journey. And as I said, I'm a qualified nutritionist and health coach, so I love to link food where I possibly can, because food is a huge contributory factor for this. I am going to dull the language down in a minute and speak to the children more than the adults. So, but that's just a little bit about me. I've actually been doing this work now for about 5 years. Before that, don't boo and hiss me, but I used to work on the trading floor for investment banks. So I've got very much a corporate brain, but also I'm very, very much about helping people heal. Now, Self-Love Club has been my brand for the last 3 years. And like I said, I started it to help the mums and dads. I started it to help the adults of the world. Why? Because I'm an adult and I knew that I needed to heal myself. But actually what I've done, particularly in the last week, since this lockdown has been official in the UK, I've actually created with a number of my beautiful team Self-Love Club for Children, and we're running free events every single morning on Zoom. So I was explaining to Frankie earlier, this is going to be weird for me because I've got no feedback coming back, and normally I've got all these beautiful little faces like smiling at me and waving at me and letting me know that they can hear and they understand and everything. So I just want you guys to go along with this with me this morning, and I'm going to just start off. Like I say, I'm very much a mindfulness mentor. I very much work with people transforming their lives. So I do exactly the same with the children on a day-to-day basis. So if you and your kids are ready, and smash the like and love button for me if you and your children are ready to watch this. We're going to do a little bit of connection initially, and then I'm going to start talking to you about food and what food looks like and how different foods link to different parts of the body. Because actually what I find is that this helps children get really, really connected to what they're eating. And actually, once they've got an understanding, all of a sudden things are much more important to them. Okay, so hopefully, whether you're parents watching this or whether you are parents and children watching this, there's going to be fun for all of us. So first things first, what I want to do is I always start every single session with some breath work. So what I want you to do is I want you to pop one hand on your chest and one hand on your tummy, and if you can, stand up. And what I want us to do, we're just going to do a little breath work exercise, and I'm just going to do 4 rounds of this. And I'm going to breathe in for 4, I'm going to hold for 4, I'm going to breathe out for 4, and then I'm going to hold for 4. And what I want you to do is feel where that's going in your body. Now, for the adults, this really helps the children just connect that their body is actually working for them constantly. You know, as little children, we don't tend to think about it. We run around, we cut ourselves, we don't think about how our grazes heal or what happens to our body. So this is just a really beautiful way of connecting in with heart space, but also feeling the way that the energy flows through our body. So I'm going to demo 1, and then we're going to do it all together. Like I say, it's going to be weird because I can't see you guys doing this. So initially we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Okay, and we're just going to do that 4 times. So breathe in through the nose, hold for 4, out through the mouth, hold for 4. And we're just going to do that 4 times. Okay, so thank you to everybody for joining in. Right, the next thing that I do, I don't know if anyone just saw that orb just go across my head. I have to acknowledge it because the energetic people around will see. Okay, so the next thing that I do with the children is let's just get a little bit of movement going. Now what happens when we're just moving, so I just want you to jump around a little bit, you know, loosen up all of your joints, roll your shoulders back and forwards, move your hips around. You know, just go and move your knees around and twisting your ankles. I appreciate you confirming that you're doing it with me, guys. I really appreciate. Move your ankles, move your wrists, move your arms, swing them backwards, move your shoulders, bring them forwards. Give your body a little tap, be Tarzan. Tap all over your body. We're just basically waking you up. You know, stamp your feet, get the energy going through you. Now, the reason I do this, the reason that I encourage people to do the breath work and then the movement is what we actually do is we actually help children to focus. We help the children to just basically be, okay, right, so we're in a good state, now we're in for learning. So whether you're a teacher, whether you're a mum, if you're ever having problems, or a dad obviously, whenever you're having problems with your children, first and foremost what I would be doing is doing some breath work with them. I've got 2 half-sisters that are only 7, they're only little, and every time one of them gets upset, we instantly do breath work, and immediately they stop being upset. What we do is we connect them to their body and we just help them go on that journey. So it's a really, really top tip. So just those 2 things, every single morning and every single evening I would be doing them, but I would obviously be doing movement in a different way at the end of the day because actually we want to be winding them down. So maybe some stretches. Or maybe, you know, something where we can just, maybe a little bit of yoga or something like that. But obviously be mindful as to the age of your children. Now, who wants to learn some stuff about food? Smash the like and love button for me if you want to learn some stuff about food, because I don't know if mummy and daddy have told you, but there is this little thing called coronavirus doing the rounds at the moment. Have any of you heard of that? Yeah, if you're parents with your children, please can you just comment as we go through, because it would be really, really helpful for me to be getting some feedback on that. I don't think the likes and loves are working, because I don't doubt that the like and love button has been hit at least once and it's not working right now. I had the same in my group earlier today. So comments, please. I can see Donna, I can see Frankie, I can see a few people commenting. So comments would be really, really helpful. So who knows that food is really, really, really important? Does anybody know out there why food is important? What do we need? What do we need to get from food? what is it that food does for us on a day-to-day basis. So right now, the things that I've chosen to show you today are going to be things that really help you because of the virus that's doing the rounds at the moment. Now, I don't want anybody to be fearful of this virus. The way that I work is I like to work with you to just make sure that your body, if the virus decides to come and pay you a visit, your body goes, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Okay, so who's up for some top tips about food? Right, now, did you know, mums and dads, did you know, children, that every single item of food, a fruit and a vegetable, not chocolate, sorry everybody, not chocolate or not sweeties, he said energy and vitamins. Yes, love that, absolutely amazing. It's all about the nutrients that we're getting. So depending on what food we're eating on a day-to-day basis, we either feel really good or really bad. Now, when I speak to the adults, I say to them, if anybody has, some bad thoughts sometimes, or maybe it's like, I'm too tired to get up in the morning, I don't want to do this, or what I tend to say is, what is it that you're feeding yourself? Because, and I know that lots of you children love McDonald's, but if you're eating McDonald's in here, what tends to happen is up here, we get McDonald's too. And what that basically looks like for the adults that are listening is mental health issues. Okay, if there's a significant amount of saturated fat and a significant amount of sugar in the day-to-day diet, and I'm not talking sugar from fruits, sugars from fruits are absolutely incredible, and the body knows how to digest them and utilize them for energy, exactly as Casey said. It's absolutely amazing that Casey has actually been able to break that down and say, okay, right, it's about energy, and the sugar in fruits are very much about that. So much, I don't know, mums and dads out there, I encourage children to eat as much fruit as possible. It's down to you, obviously, how much you allow your children to have, but if you're going to give them sugar, please make sure it comes from a fruit derivative, okay? Right, so every single fruit and vegetable, and I'm going to show you fruits and vegetables today. I'm going to show you stuff which is going to help you with the coronavirus. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is, what's this? Can anybody tell me what this is? Can anybody tell me? Does everybody know what this is here? It's all dropping over my floor right now. But can anybody tell me what this is right here? Now, I haven't done this Self-Love Club version yet, but I thought that I would do this with you today first, because it's much more important that I jump on here and help as many mums and dads as possible. So, can anybody tell me what this is? This green vegetable that I'm holding up in front of you, does anybody recognise it? It's a vegetable. Mine is shouting broccoli. Thank you, broccoli. Yes. Now, can anybody tell me what broccoli looks like? What does that look like? Can anybody liken that to anything that is maybe outside? Can anybody see what that relates to outside? This is why Zoom is amazing, because we get lots of instantaneous. Facebook is a little bit lagged. Can anybody tell me what this looks like? Does anybody know what broccoli looks like? So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully somebody's going to tell me what broccoli looks like. Now, with broccoli is amazing. My son and daughter say fairy trees. Oh, I love that. Yes. I love the fact that they've linked fairies in. Yes, Nikki, that's absolutely right. Yes, to your son and daughter, Frankie. It looks like a tree, right? It looks like a tree. Now, what does trees do? Trees give us oxygen. Okay, so think about it. If I turn this upside down, where do you think in your body this looks like? Where do you think, if I kind of hang it over the area, where do you notice? Where do you think the trees would look like? Broccoli is the best. See, we love broccoli. So broccoli actually, exactly, Frankie, it creates oxygen. So broccoli is amazing for your lungs. Now, I don't know if Mummy and Daddy have explained it to you, or if anybody's explained it to you, but the coronavirus that's doing the round at the moment, it's going into people's lungs. Okay? Love that. So, what we do is, if you want to boost your lung capacity, if you really want to give your lungs some extra oxygen and, just make sure that you can absolutely fight anything that's going on, broccoli is the one. So who is going to be having more broccoli? Bearing in mind, at the moment, this pesky little virus doing the rounds, it goes for our lungs. So for any parents out there, what I would be doing is breaking it down and making it look fun. That's what I do all the time, is I just make food look fun and weave it through things. You know, you don't have to feed broccoli to children like this. You can break it down, you can blitz it, you can hide it in food, you can hide it in sauces. But for me personally, this is a lung. You know, love that. This is a lung. You know, if I had another piece of broccoli, I'd be able to show you. It's literally your lungs. And the other thing that is really, I've got another one that I'm going to show you in a minute, but another thing that's really good for lungs, which I don't have right in front of me right now, is cauliflower. Cauliflower, if you think about it, it looks like broccoli, but it's just cauliflower. So it's the same thing, it's kind of bubbled, isn't it? So that's what our lungs look like inside of our body. So if you want to protect your lungs, and if you want to protect the lungs of your children during this period of time, please add extra broccoli in. How fun is that, knowing that our food helps us? Oh, it's amazing. So the next thing, what's this? What's this? Everybody, tell me what this one is here. And if you can, let me know what this is good for. What is this good for in your body? Can anybody tell me? And I'm just going to chop it. Can anybody tell me what this thing here is, first and foremost, and what it's good for? Because every single fruit and vegetable, like I say, links back to a part of your body. So if you are craving carrots, please know it will be, yes, it is a carrot. Thank you very much for sharing, Nikki. And can anybody tell me what it's good for? Can anybody have a think about what it would be good for? If you are craving carrots, for example, what that basically means is that your body is giving you insight into what it needs. Jackson, mussels. Oh, not quite. It's good for reindeers. Love that. And yes, your Casey is absolutely right. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. I'm assuming it's Casey, and I apologise if it's not. Please tell me if I'm saying it incorrectly. Absolutely, it's for eyes. What does that look like at the end? Which is why I just cut the end off. That was the end. I just cut the end off for you. Can you see that looks like an eye? It looks like a pupil, doesn't it? It looks like the eye and the eye socket, and this looks like the iris. So 10 points goes to Casey, and I'm pleased I'm saying that right. I was like, I don't want to upset anybody. Yeah, it is very good for reindeers, and it is good for mussels, but the predominant thing that carrots are good for is your eyes. So if you get pains in your eyes, or if you are craving carrots, please know that your eyes are trying to talk to you. Can you imagine if your body, but depending on what it craves, it's talking to you? What a revelation, right? This is what is so cool about Mother Nature, about the planet, and the world that we live in, is absolutely everything that we get given is to tell us what's going on with our bodies. How cool is that? Now, can anybody tell me what these are? And can anybody hazard a guess as to what they're good for? I love these. You can get them in red, you can get them in black, you can get them in green, and they are absolutely delicious. So, what these things are good for, if anybody can anybody guess what they were, first and foremost? In fact, I'm just going to cut a couple of other things up, and actually, yes, they're grapes. Now, what do you reckon they're good for? Can anybody guess what they're good for? I've got some really cool ones coming up, by the way, guys, so you've got to stick with me on this. Joshua said grapes. Yes, Joshua, you're amazing. And they look like eyeballs. I love that. I love that. But Jackson, they're not actually for our eyeballs. I actually told you earlier what they're for, but I was talking about a different vegetable. That might give you a little clue. So if I just stand back here and hang it here, what does it look like? What does it look like? If I had two, they'd be here. They do look like brains, absolutely, you're right, but actually they're for the lungs. They are absolutely for the lungs, so they're really, really good. I mean, they're good for many things. I just want to be really clear. The black ones are really good for any of us girls with hormones. There's lots of different things that they're good for, but they're actually very, very good for lungs. So if your children are asking for grapes or they want something sweet, remember, it's a great source of sugar, first and foremost. It's such a good sweet, and raisins and sultanas, obviously they're derived from grapes. They're not bad, as long as you make sure that the dehydrated or the dried fruit has not had sugar added to it. I'm really quite strict on that one. You'll look on the back, and if there is anything other than grapes there, don't buy it. Like, there's a lot of additives that get added, and I don't even want to go down that little rabbit hole today. I'm here to shine the delights on food rather than going down the rabbit hole. So grapes are really amazing. If your children want grapes, and maybe you've got some in the fridge or on the whatever, please know that your children are just obviously wanting to open up their lung capacity. So I would absolutely right now be broccoli, cauliflower and grapes. And like I say, make it fun. I make bread out of cauliflower. And we have that, you know, it looks and it tastes amazing. I just pop it with flax seeds because I'm plant-based. I don't use eggs or anything, but you can literally grate it down with cauliflower, and you can pop an egg with it and just make it up, and then just fry it in a pan, and you can actually just make like little slices of bread, and you can put avocado on it or tomatoes or whatever your family like. You know, I'm not here to tell you what's good and what's like what you need to do. I'm just sharing some really incredible things. Like, fruits and vegetables should be all of our lives. They really should be. It is so empowering, and I'm going to talk about a few things for the older people in a minute. It's so empowering when we know what these things can do. So yes, I love grapes too, and they are so good for you. They are so good for you. So the next thing I want to talk about now is a mushroom. A mushroom, okay? So I'm actually going to cut the mushroom in half because I think this might help a bit easier. Now, what does this look like? Can anybody think what part of the body this looks like? Now, there's a couple of things that mushrooms are absolutely incredible for, but bearing in mind we're talking to the children now, I'm going to be sharing the obvious one rather than the one that a lot of my clients will know and a lot of people that work with me will know. So I'm actually going to be talking about something else, and I'm giving you a bit of a clue. Yes, I love mushrooms too. Mushrooms are actually one of my favourite fruits and vegetables. I really love I mean, to be fair, I eat all fruits and vegetables, but mushrooms are something that have really helped my own healing journey. So I used to be quite sick about 5 years ago, and the reason I love food as much as I have, fruits and vegetables have absolutely been able to help. Yes, Nikki, top of the class. Top of the class. Mushrooms are amazing. Oh, Casey, you're amazing too. Top of the class. Holly, top of the class. All of you are getting this now. Yes, it's for our ears. So mushrooms are amazing for our hearing. They're also amazing for our thyroid. So any of you ladies out there with thyroid issues or men out there with thyroid issues, please know that mushrooms actually detoxify your thyroid. So if you are craving mushrooms, like I crave mushrooms daily. I used to have an underactive thyroid. I don't anymore. Okay. Our power is in food. So what we need to do is when we're making dinner with the children or for the children, let's just remind them, what's this going to help with? Because I find that really works. When I involve the children in making food and connecting them with what they're eating, all of a sudden, things that they didn't want to eat before, they're now becoming connected to because they know how much it helps. Okay, so hearing is eat all the mushrooms. Eat all the mushrooms, yeah. And I just wanted to say that actually, Pauline, thank you for jumping in. Cooked and raw will have the same effect. So if you eat mushrooms raw, it will still detoxify your thyroid, it will still help with your hearing, and if they're cooked as well, doesn't matter. I prefer mine cooked with some coconut oil and lots of garlic. So any of you mums out there and dads out there and children out there that love garlic, that's how I have mine. Simple. Garlic obviously really helps the immune system, and garlic's actually very good for hearing as well. Garlic, you can actually help, it's a holistic approach. You can pop a peeled garlic clove just into the ear sideways, not poking it in, but into the ear sideways, and it will actually draw out any infection or anything like that. I've got so many tips. I could be here all day, but obviously I'm on a time scale, so I can't be too much. Right, I'm going to ask you the next two together so that hopefully we'll get some feedback. Celery, what's that good for? And tomato, what do you think those two would be good for? We'll start with those two, and then I'm going to show you another thing as well. So what do you all think these would relate to? So we've got celery over here. I'm going to let you into a little secret. I don't like eating celery, so I do other things with it. I'm going to share that with you in a minute. And tomato, what do you think tomatoes are good for? And the last thing I'm going to show you is this nut. This is actually a pecan, but it's the same principle as a walnut. Now, what do you think this looks like? I need to hold it up closer. What do you think that this will look like? Okay, if you can share those 3 things. So tomatoes, stomach, really good guess, Frankie. It's not actually what I'm going to be talking about, but it's a really, really, really good guess. What about celery? What does celery look like? What does celery look like? Brains, love that. What does, amazing, awesome. So this looks like a brain, right? You literally cannot hide the fact that this here looks like a brain. Oh my goodness, who wishes that they were on Zoom right now and that they could be like, me, brains. Right, so this nut here looks like a brain. Frankie, you've nailed it. This is for bones. Celery is for bones. Such a powerful tool for bones. And this one is for our heart. Okay, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, I haven't cut it particularly well. But what happens in a tomato is we've got 4 chambers. Okay, there's 4 chambers. And for any of you mums and dads out there, you'll know that the heart has got 4 chambers. So if you have heart disease, if you have any issues with heart whatsoever, if your partner has difficulty connecting to his heart space or her heart space, get more tomatoes in them. Now, I know a lot of people that crave tomatoes, and it's purely because it nourishes the blood cells and it helps the heart pump even more so. So if you have any heart disease in your family, I would be upping the tomatoes. Again, you can make this fun with the children. You can pop, you can make up little cocktail sticks. You can be making anything up with these. So I would just be looking to encourage them. I have a funny heart, but I can't do the acid. Right, so acidity, I'm not going to go off on that one. Frankie, message me afterwards and I'll talk to you about the acidity. There's certain things that you can do to actually dull that acidity down, because it won't be coming from the tomatoes, it will be coming from other stuff that's going on in your gut. So for me, tomatoes are a huge thing. Chris, Olivia and Joshua's dad all has open, oh my goodness, all 3 of them have had to have open heart surgery. Wow, that's really quite profound, right? There's obviously something going through your ancestral line, Ruth, but we won't go down that rabbit hole right now. So I would be encouraging your family, Ruth, to be eating a lot more tomatoes. It's a really amazing natural way to be able to give the heart exactly what it wants. So what I'm talking you through now is just basically every single fruit, vegetable, nut, grain, anything that Mother Nature has provided. And what I mean by Mother Nature is the things that grow in our soils. If we eat the fruits and vegetables and the things that are grown in the natural soils of the earth, of planet Earth, what we'll realise is that we've actually got, cooked tomatoes are exactly the same, darling. Absolutely. Cooked tomatoes are actually better for you if you cook them for a short period of time than raw tomatoes. So that's a myth that people don't tend to tell you about. But as you know, I'm very passionate about my food, which is why I'm doing this today. So I would be upping the tomato intake in a massive way if you are if you've got anything relating to your heart. Now, Mother Nature, like I was just saying, she hides everything in our food. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of people around the world that have designed things like Coca-Cola and things like McDonald's, which although everybody loves because we become addicted to them, actually we don't get the nutrients that we need, and our body is reliant on these things to actually help us. So if anybody's got Alzheimer's, dementia or anything like that in their family, please eat more walnuts or pecans. They're exactly the same principle. Obviously don't do that if you've got a nut allergy. I'm not like, please don't do that if you've got a nut allergy. But what happens is the walnuts basically increase the fluid in the brain. They really help your brain fluidity, and if you guys suffer with brain fog or anything like that, it will help give you a lot of clarity. It's got some essential oils that your brain needs. But it also, another top tip for anyone with anything brain wise going on in their family, please if there's a thread of dementia or anything through your family, please pop your head in between your knees or do handstands or headstands every single day for about 20 to 30 seconds, because the rush of blood to your brain will absolutely revitalize it and kickstart it. So if any of you have got any of this stuff going on, please let me know that just start implementing these stuff. Now, we were talking about bones, weren't we? Now, I don't like celery, and I don't mean to offend you, because I have it every single day, but I have a celery in a juice, because what I don't like about celery is the texture. It's the bits that get in between your teeth. I'm fine with broccoli, I'm fine with any other fruit and vegetable, but there's a funny texture to celery, which actually makes me not really like it. So if your children don't like it, again, a bit like, I think it was Holly Ann was saying, she hides stuff in her children's food. You can do the same with celery. For me personally, I just juice it and I drink it. For some weird reason, I can taste the celery when I drink it, but obviously it doesn't have that texture, so I'm able to have that. Now, this will really help with bones. So if your child has broken a bone, or maybe they've got weak bones, brittle bones, anything like that, please know that celery is the one. Celery is a really, really, really good one to be tapping into and utilising and getting into the diet as much as possible, and make it fun. You know, like I did earlier, doing this kind of stuff. Kids enjoy that. Kids want to know that this has come from the ground, and yeah, babe, I do completely. I hide things with spices, I hide things with herbs, I put some like apple with it so it's much sweeter, like whatever works for you. That's what I do. I get you. Celery, I do not like it, which is why I'm sharing it, right? Because I eat all fruits and vegetables, but I had to share one that I don't like, because there's going to be parents out there going, yeah, Lucy, this is all great, but try feeding my children broccoli, try feeding my children, you know, this kind of stuff. So I wanted you to know, like, I don't even like this. So just make sure that you use your imagination. I like to call it intuition. Use your intuition, guys. You know where your children are and where they're at with their health. For me personally, I'm very passionate about ensuring that children, like whether they're mine or not, children are looked after to the best possible way, you know. And I've found simple ways of getting things into children. I found, you know, certain recipes. So just be a little bit creative with this. I get it's a challenge. Yeah, exactly. Blend it into a bolognese sauce. Absolutely. Hide it as best as you possibly can. There are so many ways we can be really creative. Not being disrespectful to the boys, but us girls can be super creative with food. When we know we've got to get something into our bambinos, we make it happen. So I'm just here to empower you guys to realise today that it's so important, especially during these times. Like, a lot of the kids probably go out for, you know, whether it be McDonald's or something like that once a week, or maybe they get their school lunches and now they're at home, they're like, oh mum, this food's boring. You know, just going on to the adult level chat now, sweet potato, for example. Sweet potato is an amazing alternative to white potatoes. It's phenomenal for pancreas. Now, that will be over the head of most children, because pancreas is just, you know, most children don't even know it exists. However, what I really want to empower you guys to know is that absolutely every single fruit and vegetable that you have in your fridge, your freezer, and guys, frozen vegetables are just as good. Please don't think that you have to get fresh. Well, the way that they freeze dry stuff now is just as good, like from a nutrient perspective. So just be really mindful what you're doing, you know. If your child won't eat a walnut, like, I don't blame it. I wouldn't have eaten a walnut either. I crush them down, and again, I sprinkle it in with maybe their granola for breakfast, or, you know, whatever. Like, just think about it. What I would be doing for the health of my children, and what I do is I just make sure that whatever I need to do, I'm getting it into them somehow, some way. And make fun food, you know. Okay, we're having this tonight. What does this look like? Oh, mum, it looks like a tree. Okay, cool. Now, what does it look like if I do that? No idea, mum. So get 2 bits and hang it up. Now, where would this, in their lung area, and let them guess. Make it fun. We don't have to be so serious where food is concerned. And also, the other thing that I've noticed a lot of parents do, because a lot of parents, when they work with me, they say to me, I haven't got time for that. Actually, the reality is we do have time for it. It's just not a priority. So just get really mindful about it, you know. And I'm really blessed to have worked with some of the best mindful mentors around the world. Some of the guy that even brought mindfulness to the world, I've been blessed to work with. And, you know, if we can just encourage them to eat in a particular way, and if we can, but the only way they learn is by us, which is why I created Self Love Club. You know, Self Love Club is very much about saying, You know, we have to focus on us to empower our little people, to empower our parents. You know, me going on this journey myself has unlocked my parents from so much of their stuff they were carrying. So imagine if it does it that way, imagine what it does going downwards to your children. We just need to put a priority on it. And Frankie, you've hit the nail on the head, hun. You know, right now you have so much time. I mean, people are still busy being busy. I'm watching it constantly on Facebook. Like, how can we be busy? How can we find things to do? But actually, like, have conversations with your children. You know, what does that look like? What does that look like, babe? And then they'll start to get connected that, oh my goodness, for my eyes to function well, I need to eat carrots. That's not you saying, you must eat carrots, get them in and da-da-da-da. It's actually empowering them to make that decision. If you want healthy eyes, you know, if you eat carrots, it's going to help you get there. So that's the way that I have been working with it. Yeah, cooking lessons, amazing, right? Absolutely incredible. And don't forget, there are so many recipes out there. Like I do have like an ebook recipe book, but you know, I don't give people recipes to follow. I'm like, find your ingredients and go online. Like, we're living in a time of Instagram and the internet's so amazing. Just go on there, pop your ingredients in and search for recipes. Now, if you're looking for treats for children, like we all love treats, right? I love treats too. So what I've been able to do is I've been able to go and find fruit and vegetable based treats. So brownies made of beetroot. Like I was saying earlier, I make flapjacks out of banana and oats. So it's really amazing. Just figure out what your family likes and then just go and make something along that lines, but allow the children to get involved. Allow the hands to be involved in it as well. And I know at the moment we have to wash our hands, and this virus is very much about washing hands, but get the hands involved, because what happens when you connect to the food, you actually get connected to it from a cellular level. And what that means is all of your cells are saying, I need this food inside of me, so that when it goes in you, because you've been involved in the process of making it, your cells accept it a lot better. I hope this is making sense, guys. I really, really hope this is making sense to you. So for me personally, this period of time is very much about connection to food. It's about connection to being mindful. Now, the exercises that I showed you at the beginning, the breath work and the little movement, that's part of being mindful too. So maybe do a little exercise and then be like, okay, how are we going to look at food? How are we going to actually help ourselves today? You know, and ask your children. I'm not shying away from the coronavirus as a subject. I did a session with the kids on Friday of last week, and I don't mean to call them kids, but that's just what we've called it. I actually prefer to use the word children, but it's such a long word. So, you know, we did a session with the children on Friday of last week, and the questions that came up from these children between 5 and 18 years of age, they were asking the most incredible questions. You know, Lucy, why has the weather got better since coronavirus has been here? Lucy, why can we not have play dates anymore? So don't be shying away from the subject. Let's have open, honest conversations. Let's be really mindful. Do you know what, babe? This here will really help you. It will help you. This is what's going to help you. In cauliflower, you know, one of my little sisters said to me a couple of weeks ago, I love cauliflower. You know, when I said to her, cauliflower is amazing. It's absolutely amazing for you to help your lungs right now. So I appreciate this has been a bit of a download on you all. I appreciate this has been a little bit full on this morning. But I hope that you've got some top tips from this. I hope that you can integrate some of this into your day-to-day. I wanted to pick food over the other mindful stuff that I do, because I know Frankie's going to do some of that over the course of the next couple of days. I think it might even be tomorrow. So she's going to be sharing some of the mindful stuff. So I really wanted to do a subject that nobody else was talking about. So if you've got any questions, guys, just drop me a message or comment on here. And what I'll do is I'll come back in maybe 20 minutes or so and jump in and just have a little chat with you. So please ask questions, and to any of you guys watching this back on a replay, pop hashtag replay just so that we know. To all of the little ones around the world, don't be hating me that I'm encouraging mummy and daddy to feed you fruits and vegetables. And I really hope that some of this has been useful for you. Frankie, just to your point, not many people do know about this. Like, unfortunately, our doctors and you know, and I'm not being disrespectful to the doctors, they don't know this stuff. They haven't done the years of nutritional training to understand. So don't ever be down on your doctors. They're doing the best they can. But for me, my passion is helping people heal their bodies. And that might be children, it might be adults. It's about healing. One of the tools to do the healing, and I know, Frankie, you are so in alignment with mindfulness, but one of the tools for me is about food. So I hope you guys have found this useful. Thank you very much for your comments and everything. I really appreciate you all, and I hope to see you all super soon. Lots of love.